Hello there. So, setbacks. If you're in one at the moment, I don't need to tell you how hard and difficult they are to experience. But again, this video is all about good news because any setback you experience is a sign that your brain is starting to rewire out of the anxiety habit. So, you're starting to rewire the brain into allowing acceptance and ultimately recovery from anxiety. Now, of course, the paradox is with a setback is that you feel awful, you feel anxious. So how on earth can feeling more anxious, getting more symptoms, getting new thoughts, getting new symptoms, feeling really rough in the body, feeling awful, how on earth can that be a sign that you're actually on the road to recovery? And in fact, beyond that, your brain is starting to rewire allowing the non-anxiety habits into the brain. So what's happening with a setback is that the old neural pathways of worry, overthinking, obsessive thinking, intrusive thinking, symptom activation, physical symptom activation, heart racing, feeling sick in the stomach, blurred vision, whatever it is for you, is simply the old program trying to reassert itself, the old autopilot or subconscious program trying to reactivate because it knows it's under threat. So it senses that the little triggers that it would send up, the reminders of anxiety, are not working the same way they used to because you're having so much success with allowing. I'm going loose. There's a new thought. There's a symptom. I'm allowing. I'm facing. I'm accepting. You're reminding yourself it's just adrenaline as you breathe. Drop the shoulders. It's just sensitization. It's unpleasant, it's not serious. The subconscious part of the brain that holds the anxiety programs, which are all about what ifs, what if this is something serious, what if I'm getting worse, what if I never recover, and all the corresponding symptoms, knows they're under threat because you're not reacting the same way. So what the autopilot program has to do in order to stay alive is reconfigure and set up new symptoms, send up a bit more intensity, send up a new thought, get involved in a new trigger in order to get your attention. Because remember, any program embedded in the subconscious part of the brain is considered essential, whether it's helpful ultimately or unhelpful. Because there's many helpful autopilot programs in the brain that we do not want to shift easily. We don't want to just suddenly fall away. The autopilot program that allows you to drive a car without thinking about it. The autopilot program that allows you to walk up steps, jump, skip, hop, run, whatever. So that when you are facing danger, you can jump out of the way of danger. You can run away from a predator. So we don't want those autopilot programs to suddenly stop because we say, I don't want that anymore. But again, the subconscious part of the brain has learned to be on alert because of all the stress we've experienced. We had no other choice through our lifetime in order to cope and survive, and we did, to be on alert. But when the nervous system gets sensitized, it then starts to activate it all the time, which results in the anxiety state. But again, the brain thinks it's doing what it needs to protect you. We now know that that's not the case. We now know that this is an unhelpful program. We have to form a new habit or unlearn that habit. And that's exactly what you're doing by allowing, going loose, letting it all happen. But through the process of any habit change, through the process of neuroplasticity, as you're forming these new neural pathways, the old ones and the corresponding behaviors and patterns will try and reassert themselves because, again, the brain thinks they're essential. So it's going to try and get your attention in different ways, and that's a really good sign that you are starting to rewire. You're rewiring into your brain the allowing, the recovery pathways, neural pathways of anxiety recovery, of allowing, letting it all happen, and the old ones are putting back. So you've got this internal little battle happening. The good news is we don't have to step into the battle. We can keep stepping out of the battle and allowing these unpleasant setbacks to do what they need to do, practice with them in exactly the same way as other normal anxiety symptoms, because they are just another form of anxiety. They're annoying because we think, I was making so much progress. I wasn't reacting to that symptom last week. That thought didn't bother me. Why am I getting worse? But it's just the the old habit trying to reassert itself, get your attention in different ways, which it has to do, because we want the autopilot programs that are essential to do the same thing. We don't want them to just shut off. Remember, we're falsely taught the brain to think anxiety is an essential program. So the fact that there's this, it's trying to reconfigure, it's trying to hold on, it knows it's under threat. It knows that what you're doing is working. So we just have to steer the course. Keep allowing, keep facing, reminding ourselves it's just adrenaline. Take your time, do what you need to do. I'm going to go loose. I'm going to let it all happen as best I can. So it's evidence, even though it feels like the opposite, that you are starting to rewire. The opportunity is to keep doing it so we can start to make real and embed the change even further. The more times you get through a setback, you start to really embed the new neural pathways of allowing, and the brain starts to go, well, gee, I activated all these symptoms, I gave him new symptoms, I gave him new thoughts, and he still is allowing. He's still letting it all happen. So this must be the true essential program. And that's how we go on the path on the road to recovery and form the non-anxiety habit, form the allowing habit, which at some point will start to, and it probably already is at times, become the new default program. The old default of anxiety will start to switch off more and more until it doesn't activate anymore. And that's what recovery is all about. I hope that helps. If you've got questions, let me know. Know that you are on the path if you're in a setback, and hopefully that just helps demystify it and remind you of why it's happening. I wish you all the very best. Take care.